Hello everyone, I am Renowned Zero, and today we're going to be talking about the Acolyte actor Charlie Barnett saying that there is no good and no evil in Star Wars, which just further proves the point that the people they're hiring for Star Wars shows don't know what Star Wars is. Because this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. The original trilogy is the Republic. No, the Rebels. I'm sorry, the Rebels versus the Empire. Literally a good versus evil. Jedi versus the Sith. Let's just get into it. The Acolyte actor Charlie Burnett says the best parts about Star Wars is there's no good or evil. Depends on what side you're standing on. No. No. Just no. The Acolyte actor Charlie Burnett recently made an appearance at Star Wars Celebration where he continued to reveal how Disney and Lucasfilm radically are reshaping Star Wars. Yeah, to make it more shit. Barnett took to the stage of Star Wars Celebration with his co-stars Daphne Keane and Manny Jacinto, where the three had a brief discussion about the show, with Barnett revealing he plays a Jedi Knight, and that the series is set towards the tail end of Lucasfilm's High Republic era, which the High Republic era is hot garbage. It doesn't sell, it's not popular, and no one cares about it. As their time on the stage began to wrap up, the trio was asked to describe the Acolyte in less than 5 words. Barnett responded, "I would say a battle for power." He then continued, "I mean, the best parts about Star Wars, there's no good or evil." Yes, there is. You're not a Star Wars fan. I can tell you right now, you're not a Star Wars fan. You don't know anything about what Star Wars is. Clearly, if this is the dumb statement you're going to make about Star Wars. It depends on what side you are standing on, truly. The name war is in the title of Star Wars. He explained, you can look at any angle, see yourself related to all the characters, Darth Vader to Luke. You know what I'm saying? No. Yes, you can obviously relate to a lot of the characters, but again, right off the rip, by you saying that there's no good or evil, tells me you are not a fan of this. You are not a fan of Star Wars. You don't even know the basic fundamentals of what Star Wars is. Barnett then went on to provide more details on how the Acolyte reshaped Star Wars. This show is truly about the balance of power and the balance of good versus evil. So you said there's no good versus evil, yet you go back and say it's a balance of power and balance of good versus evil. So you went back and basically said that Star Wars is about good versus evil. So, and realizing so much of it starts at the root, truly. This injection of more relativism, or the view that there's no absolute truth and there's no true good or evil in Star Wars, something George Lucas did not include in his original films, and dare I say would object to. And in fact, Lucas was asked what interested him about the conflict of good and evil in Star Wars during an appearance on American Voices with Bill Bradley back in 2012. Lucas answered, quote, "Well, the conflict between good and evil is the basic conflict." So right away, again, you are not a Star Wars fan. You are hired more than likely for the diversity quota. For former Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant, Leslie Headland. The universal question is, am I a good person? But of course, that's a very complicated question, and it's something you have to ponder because you're doing it every day. You're saying, should I do this or shouldn't I do this? Lucas later detailed, quote, "To me, it's really about a compassionate person as opposed to a person that's consumed with self-interest or a selfish person," which is essentially the difference between a Jedi and a Sith. Those are the two things. We all have good and evil in us because we have the selfish side and we have the compassionate side of us. The idea is, how do you keep those things in balance? And by keeping those things in balance, you can do a lot of good things. You're never going to get everybody's human, everybody's greedy. When you become greedy, then you do bad things to get stuff from other people. Once you get stuff, then you become afraid. Once you become afraid that somebody's gonna take it from you, then you start striking out at people and you start getting angry at things and you get worried. And that puts you into a whole psychological mindset, turns you ultimately into an evil person, where you're doing horrible things to people thinking that you are doing the right thing, but you're doing it because you're afraid they're going to hurt you before you hurt them, which is essentially Lucas explaining the stages of falling to the dark side. It's not hard. Lucas would later be asked by Bradley, "Did you consciously think about when you were making you really wanted to make this a force for the good?" He replied, yes, part of it is that bringing back some of those old psychological motives from mythology. Part of it was I just wanted to see if they were still relevant. I knew they were, but you don't really know. And a lot of it's turned into fruit and junk, but you kind of know things are still working that way a little bit, but I didn't know how much. Lucas continued, quote, how much are just the basics of what friends are for? Why do you join together in society to help each other? Your relationship to your father, your relationship to the generation that came before that seems to have screwed everything up, and how do you feel about passing that on to your kids? And how do your kids feel about the fact that you've been handed this mess from the earlier generation? Can you be stronger than your father in terms of the temptations that he was over, the things he was maybe able to overcome or not overcome? Maybe he's very successful, but still had a lot of flaws. So there's a lot of complicated things that are put in there that are basic issues that you want to deal with. It's the same thing with the Force, which is basically an amalgamation of all religions, and ever since the very beginning, they'd always come to this mysterious thing that we can't see that has some kind of power over us, and or we have the power over it, or we go to it for help. And explains a lot of things that the mysteries that we can't explain any other way. Clearly, George Lucas believes there's definitively good and evil within the Star Wars sub-creation that he brought to life on the big screen. And for the idea of balance that Barnett discusses, Lucas makes it clear balance is achieved through overcoming the dark side. He explained back in 2010 the only way to overcome the dark side is I think it's supposed to be discipline. The dark side is pleasure, biological, temporary, easy to achieve. The light side is joy, everlasting and difficult to achieve. A great challenge. Must overcome laziness, give up quick pleasures, overcome fear, which leads to hate. So, once again, we are here talking about what makes Star Wars, and this is the type of person that they're hiring over at Lucasfilm who doesn't know a damn thing about what makes Star Wars. It is inevitably the battle of good versus evil, Jedi versus Sith, Rebels versus the Empire. So no, Charlie Burnett. There is no best parts. There's no just depending on what side you're standing on. If you're a Jedi, you're good. If you're a Sith, you're bad. If you're a Rebel, you're good. If you're part of the Empire, you're bad. Point blank, period. Simple as that. Thank you all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate all new subscribers, returning subscribers. If you do like the video, hit the like button, comment below what you feel about all this. Subscribe for more content, hit the bell for notifications, set it to all that we get notifications anytime we post a new video, and I will see you all on the next one. Peace.